the little girl said, "Sir, my mom didn't come home last night." The CEO followed her into the snow. Snow blanketed the streets of Burlington, Vermont, covering the entire city in a soft white silence. It was 6:45 a.m. when Ethan Clark, the 38-year-old CEO of Clark Industries, stepped out of his sleek black SUV and headed toward the company's headquarters. He loved winter mornings, clean, crisp, and quiet. But that morning, something broke the silence. A tiny voice. "Sir, excuse me, sir?" Ethan turned and saw a little girl standing near the side of the building. She couldn't be more than 7 years old, wearing a thin pink jacket that clearly wasn't warm enough for the freezing weather. Her small boots were soaked. Her cheeks were red from the cold, and she was shivering. Ethan's brows pulled together. "Yes? Are you lost?" he asked gently. The girl shook her head. Her lips trembled as she tried to speak. "Sir, my mom didn't come home last night." Ethan felt a jolt in his chest. "Your mom didn't come home?" he repeated, kneeling to her level. "Where do you live, and why come to me?" She swallowed hard, tears filling her eyes. "My name is Lily, and my mom works here. She cleans your building at night. She always comes home by morning, but she didn't." Ethan's stomach dropped. The cleaning crew finished around 4 a.m. It was highly unusual for someone to stay afterward. "Have you told anyone else?" he asked. Lily shook her head again. "I didn't know who to ask. Your building is the only place she goes at night." Ethan stood quickly, his protective instincts kicking in. "Come inside," he said. "You're freezing." He removed his own coat and wrapped it gently around her small shoulders. It practically swallowed her, but she leaned into the warmth with a grateful, tired sigh. Inside the lobby, employees watched curiously. It wasn't every day that their CEO entered carrying a child wrapped in his coat. Ethan motioned to his assistant. "Get her a hot chocolate and call security. I need the cleaning logs from last night. Every camera feed, every entry record." Within minutes, security pulled up the footage. What Ethan saw made his blood run cold. At 2:17 a.m., Lily's mother, Maria Thompson, had exited the building through the staff door. She looked exhausted, dragging 2 heavy bags of trash. Snow was falling heavily, reducing visibility. Then, a dark van appeared at the edge of the camera frame. Maria paused. A man stepped out and said something to her. Maria shook her head and stepped back, but the man grabbed her arm. The footage cut out in static. "What happened to her?" Lily whispered, clutching Ethan's coat tighter. Ethan felt anger flood through him. This wasn't an accident. Someone took her, and it happened outside his own company. "Lily," he said softly, "I'm going to find your mother. I promise." She looked up at him with wide, fearful eyes. "You'll come with me," Ethan added. "I'm not leaving you alone." Ethan instructed his head of security to notify the police immediately, while he personally accompanied Lily back to her neighborhood. Snow was falling harder now, the wind sharp and bitter. Ethan carried Lily in his arms as they walked toward a line of old apartment buildings near the river. When they reached Lily and Maria's apartment, Ethan looked around. The door was unlocked. Inside, the apartment was freezing. A single lamp flickered, and the space was spotless, just as someone who worked as a cleaner would keep it. "Do you have any family we can call?" Ethan asked. "No," Lily said quietly. "It's just me and Mommy." Ethan clenched his jaw. He was not leaving this child alone, not for a second. Suddenly, a loud crash sounded outside. Ethan rushed to the window. A man in a black coat was dragging a struggling woman through the snow. Maria. She was bleeding from her forehead, her hands tied. "Stay here," Ethan told Lily, grabbing his phone. "Call the police. Tell them he's here." Then, Ethan ran out the door before she could respond. Outside, Ethan charged through the snow, his expensive shoes slipping on the ice. "Hey!" he shouted. "Let her go!" The man jerked around, startled. He shoved Maria to the ground and sprinted toward the back alley. Ethan chased him full speed, his breath burning in his chest. For a CEO who spent most of his days behind a desk, he moved fast. The man tried to climb over a fence, but Ethan grabbed his jacket and yanked him down. They both fell into the snow. A struggle, a punch, then sirens. Police pulled up just as Ethan pinned the man to the ground. "He tried to kidnap her," Ethan said breathlessly. "We have security footage." Maria ran to him, tears streaming. "Thank you," she cried. "Thank you for saving me, and my daughter." Ethan steadied her. "No, Maria, I should have ensured the safety of every employee long ago. That changes today." Lily ran out of the building, leaping into her mother's arms. "Mommy!" Maria held her tight, sobbing into her hair. Ethan stood back, letting them reunite. Snow fell around them, turning the street into a glowing blur of white. Lily looked up at Ethan and whispered, "Thank you, sir." Ethan smiled softly. "You don't need to call me sir," he said. "My name is Ethan." "Thank you, Ethan." And in that moment, as police lights reflected off the snow, Ethan realized something. This wasn't just an employee. This was a family that needed help. And he wouldn't be walking away. Not today, not ever.